so that's why we're out here. Hope you can bear with us
I hear you.
with the heat. Again, our apologies for that. My name is Arlene Correa. I am an information officer on the Southwest Incident Management Team 3. And just wanted to talk a little bit about what's on the board here. I'll read it to you. I know maybe it's a little hard to see, but before we do that, I'm going to just have these folks that are up in front of you here just give a quick introduction of who they are and who they work for in case after we're done here, if you have specific questions, you'll know who you should be talking to, okay? So we'll start down on the end.
My name is Aaron Green. I work for Arizona State Forestry, which is the state agency responsible for wildland fires.
I'm Darrell Willis. I'm one of the operations chiefs for the Central or Team 3 with the Incident Management Team.
I'm Byron Stewart. I'm the Mohave County Emergency Management Coordinator.
I'm Mike Hendricks. I'm the county administrator.
I'm David West. I'm the Mohave County Flood Control District Engineer, and I'm assisting with public information from Mohave County.
Dean McKee, Captain, Mohave County Sheriff's Office.
Brandon Lawrence, Sergeant, Mohave County Sheriff's Office.
About a minute.
Good afternoon, Jeff Andrews. I'm the assistant to the incident commander.
John Kennedy, Fire Marshal from Mohave Valley Fire Department. Harley Harmon, Division Chief from Mohave Valley Fire Department.
My name is Alan Sink. I'm the incident commander for the Southwest.
Good job. When we go live, I'm just going to take a look, show this, I'm going to step behind you and talk that way.
Just wanted to mention why we're here today, and I think that's pretty self-explanatory. We want to give you a fire update, tell you what's going on with the fire, and then talk about the re-entry process, because I think what probably most of you are most concerned about. So in order to do that, we have set a few operational procedures here, so I'm going to just go over those real quick with you all. And this is really important because it's just going to help us get through this, hopefully get you guys back to your homes, get some questions answered. So, first of all, we want to ask everybody to be respectful. Hold all questions until the end of the presentation. We will, I promise, give everybody the opportunity to have any questions answered. Everybody's going to hang out and committed to hanging out to get all the questions answered for you. Before you ask the question, what we're going to do is point you out. So if you just raise your hand, we will point you out, ask you to stand up and just state your name and maybe what your business is here. Are you a homeowner, a business owner? Are you having smoke impact? Whatever that issue might be, just tell us so we have a little idea where you're coming from. Raise your hand.
We'll see right now the community is getting an update about this fire, where it is and what's going on. I'm going to step out of the way and get you a look at the meeting right
We
now.
have one speaker at a time, so again, if you just stick to that raising our hand, I think that will take care of that. And then, let's see, one question per person to allow for everyone's questions to be addressed. If you have a follow-up question, I promise we'll come back to you and we'll get everything you need answered. But for now, there's a lot of folks here. We'll let them hit one question at a time. We'll try to get everything answered, okay? Does anybody have any issues or problems or need to add anything to our operating procedures? All right, if not, we're going to go on, and we're going to start real quick with Alan Sinclair, our incident commander.
Good afternoon. Again, my name is Alan Sinclair, and I know that the big question is when are we going to let people in? My team took command of the fire last night at 6 o'clock, and we haven't even been here for 24 hours.
Speak up.
Yeah.
With a great sense of humor. How's that? Okay. Again, my name is Alan Sinclair. I'm with the Southwest Incident Management Team 3. I'm the incident commander. Last night at 6 o'clock, our team
Information to bring it to you and here. So right now, putting live here back to you guys.
Would you be quiet, please?
One of the things that they asked us to do was to assess when we can get folks back in. This area is a checkerboard of responsibility. We've got a lot of jurisdictions involved, a lot of moving parts, a lot of people to make decisions with. It was a focus of ours to make a decision on re-entry into the neighborhood impacted by fire. We lifted some evacuations earlier today for the precautionary evacuations that had occurred yesterday. So today at 3 o'clock we have those folks back in. Now there's still a neighborhood that we as a group have decided to open up at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. What this is going to allow us to do is finish some of the work that's being done in there. The power company's in there trying to get the lines back up. Just because fire and you don't see smoke, it doesn't mean that there's not hazards. We were trying to mitigate as soon as we could as we were assessing it today. When we allow reentry tomorrow, there's still going to be hazards in there. So we're going to talk about those. We want to get the information to you folks so that when you do go back in, you can do so safely and educated with what hazards are there. And I'm going to let the rest of the people speak about how we got to that decision, and then I'll be available for questions later. Thank you.
So just real quick before we touch on the reentry, I'm gonna ask Daryl to come up and he's just gonna give you a quick fire update, let you know what the actual fire is in here. And then I just pretty well.
Okay, so this is a map of the fire. The fire itself is 6,780 acres. That's about 10 square miles. It's a big fire for this river area. It's a lot of ground to cover to make sure that it's not going to move east, west, north, and south. But we've done, the team that was in here, the initial response people did a great job. It was a fast-moving fire, and they gave us something to work with. This morning, you probably read a press release that said that the fire was 0% contained. Got out there, took a look at it. We upped that to 10% at about 10 o'clock this morning. This evening, it's going to go up significantly more. Where we've contained the fire, it's not going to cross Courtright Road anymore in here. All of the north end of the fire has pretty well been secured. We're still working on that. It's unless we have just an unusual weather event, we're going to keep it in this box here around this red right here. We're working on mopping it up and making sure that there's nothing that's going to fall over the line or anything like that. But for the most part, the north end of the fire has been contained. And that containment that you read in the press release today is going to go up significantly tonight. And we do that by ground treatment, putting people on the around. We've got about 300 firefighters on the fire right now doing work, and that includes bulldozers, helicopters, hotshot crews, other crews, and about 20 engines that are working the fire 24/7. When it gets dark, we've got another shift that goes in and works all night long to help this containment around it. So, you want to take some questions now about this, or should we just get it?
Yeah, let's move on. Let's go ahead and start. Before, do we have any cooperators that want to input anything before we start on the reentry process? Okay, go ahead, Daryl.
Okay, so one of our decisions about the reentry is about the hazards that exist. Podium, thank you. The hazards that exist that are there, and there's a lot right now. Number one, the power lines in the area. There's a number of poles that burn with transformers on them. They fall into the ground. There's wire all over the place. The power company's working diligently to do that. That's probably one of the biggest things that is out there. And so it's in people's backyards, it's in the middle of the road, on Rancho, and things like that. We're clearing all that out. That work is not going to be completely done, but in working with the power company, they feel good about you coming in tomorrow and them still being there doing some work. They're going to clear the main right-of-ways and things like that. Another huge hazard is in the vegetation type, the salt cedar. What happens, fire comes through there, it seems like it's out, there's no smoke, but what's happened is the roots are on fire. And that creates caverns underneath the ground. You can walk across, it looks good, fall into a stump hole, and burn your leg. Many firefighters, not on this fire as of yet, but many firefighters get burned that way because they're walking over a piece of ground and all of a sudden they fall into a big hole. So that's going to be out there. We haven't mitigated that. That could be on your property, especially the ones that took the majority of the heat on the south side. Another aspect is that we haven't, because of some of the damage, we haven't been able to identify where septic tanks and things like that are. You will know that. So when you get in there, you're just going to have to know not to drive where your septic tank is, because things are going to be rearranged on your property. Another hazard is the propane tanks. There's propane links and things like that. We've released the propane companies to go in there, secure them, however they need to secure them, whether they remove the tank or they just shut the service off or whatever. So that's going to be a hazard for those of you that lost propane service. You're going to have to relight your hot water heater and your cooking if you cook on propane. And then finally, there are some hazard trees that we've not been able to get to yet. Normally, we would go in, cut those hazard trees out. They've been weakened by the fire, and so limbs could fall off. What we're really trying to do is make you aware of the hazards. It's your property, and we want to get you back as soon as you possibly be. You could get back there, but you have to understand that there's some hazards out there. We're still going to have a presence at night, probably even tomorrow night, out in that subdivision, with some folks and stuff like that, to catch anything that may pop up, any of those groups that may find a way to get above ground and start another fire or something like that. But for the most part, you're going to be responsible for your property, and if you get injured on your property and stuff like that, we just want to make you aware of some of those hazards. One final thing is we've not been able to identify all of the, if there are any hazardous material leaks, large fuel tanks or any fuel tank or anything like that that you may have had on your property that spilled into the soil or anything like that. We haven't identified any, but there could be some out there. You could inhale something or something like that, or hit something on you that could cause some corrosion, or because we don't know exactly what's out there. We haven't identified all that. We think it's important enough to let you get into your property and see what you need to deal with.
Okay, guys, having said all that, what we'll do now is we'll open the floor to questions, and again, if I can get you to kind of come up and help me, we'll just sort of point you out one more time, if you don't mind, standing, talking loud and clear, stating your name and, maybe where you live or whatever state you have in life, okay? So we'll open the floor now to questions. Yes, ma'am.
Nobody seems to know, nobody's communicating as to what's going on with our area. We go to the command station. Command station says go to the fire department. Fire department says BLM. Nobody is telling us anything, and that's why we're getting so frustrated. So you guys aren't communicating with each other as far as we know, because nobody's telling us anything. 9 o'clock meeting yesterday, they come back at 3 o'clock, and give an update. It was exactly the same thing we got the 9 o'clock meeting. No, nothing different. We're having a correlation meeting. Who's correlating with who, because nobody knew anything different. So that's why we're all getting so frustrated and wanting to know what we can do to get back in and get our personal production happen.
Okay, so has that part of your question been answered? What's going to happen to get back in?
Yeah, but I mean, they say contact American Red Cross. They don't know anything. Contact the fire force, they don't tell you anything. Contact.
Okay, so I probably don't have your answer, but what I can tell you is there's just so many players involved. This was such a quick, fast-moving fire that we were all, and including the team that came in yesterday, trying to coordinate everything. I certainly apologize. We're trying to get the information as clear as we can out to everybody. So we have some holes to fix, and we certainly are going to work hard at that. Again, my apologies, ma'am.
Yeah, and I would echo some of the things that she said. Our team came in at the request of the folks that were very busy trying to get this fire put out. And one of the determining factors for ordering the team was the complexity of dealing with everybody and making sure that we were communicating with everybody. Our team hasn't even been here 24 hours yet. Our focus was making a determination on what it's going to take to get people back into their homes and into the areas that were damaged so they can see what they have.
You're saying now is the contact the fire department and tell us what you guys know?
Well, we have public information officers. We have liaison officers. So when a team like ours is ordered, we come with the command staff. We run a little over 50
I have worked diligently with the team and the PIOs to be able to come up, be able to give you guys this release time tomorrow morning and get you guys back in and make sure that it is safe as possible for everybody to get back in there, plus our cooperators working in there. The phone number that you currently have, those people that are answering those phones are volunteers, but they will have this exact same information today.
So I can put one more thing on the phone number, is they are putting landlines in as we speak at our incident command post. So we will have a telephone number. It wasn't in when I left. It may be in by now. So we will get that number out. If you're able to follow us on any of the social media, we'll get it out that way. But we will also use any of the other outlets that we have to get an official number out. We want to try as a team, try and take some of the burden off of the local folks. Right now, they've got volunteers and they've got a lot of folks working real hard. We'll just see if we can't help them out with that. We will get you a phone number. Thank you.
One more real quick thing. The minute that they get me that number, my people that are answering the phones will have it, so when you call here, they will give you that number for you to call.
Okay, and Don, just the last thing, if anybody has a specific address that they are curious about, and they find you out first after
Yes.
we have taken general questions?
Yes.
Okay, so if you have specific addresses, if you will find Don after the meeting, and he will be able to answer questions about specific addresses. Yes, sir.
My name is Bill Ennis. I live in Cheyenne. You said that you're going to allow us back in by 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Does that mean that the power's going to be up or no?
I can answer that. There are areas that you're not gonna have power to.
So how long?
I don't know. It depends on the damage to your property. A lot of the subdivisions, power lines are back here. These all along Ranchero were taken out. So they're working on the laterals now. There are some of these laterals that come off of Ranchero that are replaced. These areas down here on the southern part, if you live on the southern part here, they're still working. I know that they've got 8 more poles put in down here on the south side. They're going to be doing that. One of the things that you need to be aware of, if your resident sustains significant damage, the power company's not going to put a meter in there until you get a new setup and inspection and things like that. So,
What I've been able to learn, my property is basically untouched.
okay.
So
It's going to depend on how long it takes the power company to get this last lateral. That's where the most of the damage is. Once they get that in, you're going to be good. We've had estimates that tomorrow evening, everything should be back in, but that's an estimate.
no way of knowing if the power will be back on sometime tomorrow then, before tomorrow evening.
They estimated that they thought that it would be. It's an estimate.
Yes, my name is Nick and I'm a owner. If we go in tomorrow at 10 o'clock, can we stay or is that temporary?
You're going to stay.
Thank you.
Yes, my name is Mike, and I was just, for general information for everybody, is there a Facebook site or a Twitter site that people can log on to find out the most up-to-date information?
There is a Facebook site. It's Willow Fire AZ. Willow Fire AZ. Willow Fire AZ.
Okay.
The AZ is important because there's several Willow fires going on across the country.
Right.
Okay?
Thank you.
You can also search it on NCWeb and go, when you search it on the top right-hand corner, search it under Arizona.
Can you spell that out for the other people that are not aware of InstaWeb?
It's NC short for incident, INCIWEB, NCWeb. If you just Google that, that will get you to the site. On the top right-hand corner, there's an area where you can search, pull down to Arizona, and you'll probably find Willow Fire right there. There was nothing on that website the last time I checked. Nothing on the Willow Fire on that website last time.
Updated it.
You're getting it wrong. Okay, we'll check on it. We'll check on it.
The Facebook is good. My question is that I've seen a lot of spots, we were over there waiting because we thought we might be able to get in there early. We there a possibility that that may change from what you're looking at?
I don't believe so. And here's what you're seeing out there. You're seeing pieces of land that have unburned islands of green trees, arrowheads, and stuff like that in there. And it's back in this area here. And a lot of the smoke that you've been seeing today is back in this area here on the south side. Okay, so does that mean that you couldn't have a little smoke on your property? A little smoke would come up or something like that? No, you could. But those large columns of smoke and stuff like that are interior islands that are significantly far away from here that we're not concerned about.
Next question?
Over here, first of all, thank you for all the gentlemen, all the firefighters, all these wonderful gentlemen here. Marshall saved my puppy. Thank you. And she's in the shelter. And electricity is on Old West and Ranchero.
And Surrey and Ranchero is on.
I have to get my breather machine and my medicine. I got 2 breather machines, so if somebody else needs solution, albuterol is what I got. You're more than welcome to have the other machine to use it. Please feel free over there at the shelter. And my blood pressure machine, and the power is restored, and it's on at Old West, all that little section, and all my neighbors' houses are still up. So God bless you all. Thank you so very much. Thank you very, very much.
Any other questions? Yes, sir.
The hardest hit area down there in Cheyenne, it was like when my place at, it's all level of it's gonna be able to get into small trees and stuff, right?
Yes, sir.
That was the hardest hit area right there to Ranchero and Cheyenne, wasn't it?
Is that the last street?
Was that, yeah.
Yes, it was.
Right down that corner there?
Yes.
I'm thinking that Christina came in. I don't like that you said you took control at 6 o'clock. I think the round of applause needs to know that the firefighter that was dealing that was here before, they're gonna have to stick with us. So let me just touch on that. Ma'am, you're absolutely right. These guys were on for 24 hours straight, hitting it hard. We came in and are just trying to relieve some of the burden off of them, so thanks for that correction. You're absolutely right. Your local folks here in the area are the ones that have really been busting it, and they absolutely deserve a round of applause.
I'd like to add, I know that the wording wasn't correct, but believe me, whenever the incident command team came in, they didn't just take control. They came in and worked with our incident commanders diligently and are still working with us every bit of the way. It's not them running it, taking it away from us. It's them working with us so that we can make this as smooth and as possible of a transition for you guys to be able to get home safe.
Thank you.
If we have any concerns about anything on our property that might not be of emergency, do you have a contact phone number that we could call to, like, maybe your incident command, and maybe somebody could come over? Because I don't want to be inundating 911.
Until they get their incident command lines up, the fire department number, the 768-9113, I know when you're calling that, sometimes it's going to voicemail, sometimes it's ringing a lot before it gets answered, but there's going to be somebody on that line 24/7 until they get their phone lines in, and we can either relay information if it's something they need to handle, or we will send our crews out to take a look at it.
And you would prefer us to call that versus 911, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank
And
you.
then just to tag on to that, we're gonna ask everybody's patience in that if you call and you have a specific question, we may forward you on to the power company, the propane company, or somebody like that. So just continue to be patient with that. because we may have our own list of numbers, or we're gonna be referring people on to it. Thank you. Right here.
Yes, Steve Monty, live on Jesuit. I wanna know why there wasn't, better evacuation. I didn't find out until 3:30 in the afternoon, and that was only because we were getting out our driveway, the smoke and asphalt at our house, and the sheriff tried to lie and evacuate.
I can actually answer that question for you, and I hope it helps you understand. I was the original incident commander on the fire, and the fire there burned extremely hot, extremely fast. Where I was sitting, I had a very good view of Topaz Lake Rancheros and all of that, along with the entire valley. When I called for the evacuation of Topaz Lake Rancheros, there was 2 miles between the fire and the residence. When I called for the evacuation, at that time, the wheels went in motion, the sheriff's office, the search and rescue, the firefighters that were in the area already, and they started that process. There's a lot of places down there, there's a lot of people to contact, there was a lot of people that were more concerned, and don't take me wrong when I say this, there's some people more concerned about things that shouldn't be concerned. When the evacuation, and this type of a situation is called, that means we need to leave now. And some people were a little abrasive to the firefighters and the law enforcement guys in that process. So if it took a little while to get to your house, I apologize for that, but they were working and going as fast as they could to get everybody notified and get them out as quick as they could.
Why not the reverse 911 system or radio TV? Nothing on any of those.
Right, and the reason why nothing was on those is because that was so far into the beginning of the fire that we didn't have time to make those notifications. And not all areas.
We'll come back to you.
Not all areas have the ability for the reverse 911, and that is the unfortunate part about living in the area. Not everybody has the ability.
I got a question on what you just said. I was the first online by my house at 11 o'clock. The fire got close to us about 12:30, 1 o'clock. I stepped out my front yard. It was 75 yards before it got to our cross street neighbor. Firefighters were on the corner and did not evacuate us. We had to run on our own without anybody telling us to leave. I was there the whole time until that fire.
Did you have a question, sir?
Excuse me?
Do you have a question?
I'm just saying, how come they give us the evacuation? Why didn't they have a blowhorn telling us to leave right away?
I can't answer for the individual crews. I can only answer for what the actions that we put into motion and what other crews and what other people have told me what happened. So if that happened, I'm truly sorry that
Yeah, I mean, your guys were right on the corner. There's 4 trucks on my corner on Canal Drive, and none of them said any blowhorns, nothing.
That's right. And I think the one thing that we can all speak to is unfortunately it takes incidents like this, and it is a learning experience. And I can guarantee you that everybody involved in this fire, from the team on to all the local folks, definitely will be learning from this. And I'm guessing we're going to have some sort of after-action review at some point and look at some of these things and how it can be better next time. And that, as fire agencies, I think that's what we always do, try to get better. We hope it never, ever happens again, but if it does, we need to get better every time. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. What I can tell you is right now it's under investigation. We believe there was thunderstorms in the area, but there is an investigation team that is, I'm not sure they've arrived yet, but they've got the general area of existence located, and they will be doing the investigation. This morning in the news release, it went out and it said lightning. That was kind of a blubber on our part. It has not been confirmed. We know there was lightning storms or thunderstorms in the area. We will be verifying. But again, that is not the official cause of the fire. That was our mistake this morning. Yes, ma'am.
I understand that a lot of animals were released in the area and the firefighters needed to put them in a safe place. If our house was one of those safe places, is there a number that I can call to get the animals back down, or someone in charge of that?
No, at this point, no, we haven't gotten to that coordination yet. Hopefully by in the morning, I'll be able to give that answer. So if you just continue to call this Hartford's number, as soon as I can get that coordinated, then we will get that to you. Okay?
And on the continuing to call the fire department number, what may happen, so we're gonna ask you is, if you call that fire department number and you get an answering machine, don't hang up on it, because we're gonna ask you folks to please be sure to leave the right telephone number to forward it on to us. So don't get upset because you got an answering machine and click it off. Listen through it, and hopefully these guys will have a number to get through the incident command team. And again, it's just our effort to try to take a little bit of a weight off of these guys who've been working extremely hard. Yes, sir?
Hi, Martin off of Plantation Road. I'm just wondering, knowing that none of us everyday people are firefighters, what kind of part can we take in to try and help things smooth out as we're finishing up? As well as once the dust figuratively and literally settles, what can we do to help rehabilitate the damaged areas?
Some of the things that can be helped in on your own property to help mitigate this thing from spreading whenever you're allowed access back in is maintaining your own property. You know, some of the properties that burn, I hate to say it, but the owner of that property's got to take some ownership in it, because the vegetation on that property was so heavy that even if the fire would have started on that property, we wouldn't have been able to protect their home. I'm sorry. So as owners, you guys need to take some responsibility and start, creating that defensible space away from your home, so that it gives us a chance to protect your home. If you've got 20-foot salt cedar trees growing up next to your house, there's nothing I can do. I can park a fire truck on top of your house, and I'm not going to be able to protect it if this happens. So by helping us, by creating those defensible spaces whenever you get back in, will help to keep this from happening again. Did that answer your question?
More or less. The question is, there's a lot of vacant properties near where I am, and I know legally I don't have the right to do any serious work to those properties. What resources do I have available to try and deal with those?
That is handled through my office. So, I am diligently working in the different subdivisions, sending out letters. If you've got specific complaints, call. And I've got a process that I must go through. It's a legal process that I have to go through to get it done. It could take me up to 120 days or more to get that lot cleared. But there is a process in place for me to get that cleared, and I'll do my best to do that. Okay? I do know that there are lots that fall through the cracks occasionally whenever I get overwhelmed, but I do work on it digitally. I do work on it all the time.
Thank you.
I got 3 questions in queue right here. We're gonna start here, then I'll go here, and then move it back here. Okay, I'll get you third. Okay, so we'll start here.
Mary on Canal. I was wondering, since it is a small, close-knit community, we're all willing to help out. What is it we can do besides helping each other's property to help you get your job done easier?
So I think John's got several things going on here, but what I can tell you is we will be assisting in this. It's probably going to be a couple of days yet, but if you all can keep up with us on some of the posting and stuff that we're going to do, we'll be putting some stuff out, some after the fire type stuff. So maybe that might be able to give you a little bit of guidance. We'll be working with state forestry and some of these folks, and it's not anything that you must do. They will just be suggestions for after the fire. They may be things to help keep you safe, maybe some stuff to help working on defensible space, any of that. So we'll be working on getting some of that stuff. We're just, like they said, we haven't been here 24 hours yet, so we're just kind of hitting the ground running, and we'll be getting to some of that stuff. It'll be a couple days out yet, so.
Just like you're helping out them so they can get their job done.
Exactly.
We can help out all of you in whatever areas. If you can make a list of where more volunteers can help pitch in to help their own stuff.
Not all of us have computers. Not all of us have computers.
Yes, ma'am. And Another thing on that point is we will be setting up a trap line, we'll get some relief and some stuff, and maybe some pivotal places around town, the post office, maybe a grocery store, that kind of thing. Some areas where if you don't have access to a computer, you will be able to read it up on a board or something like that. Right here?
Yes, ma'am. What he just said was correct, but the mesquite and the camel thorns are indigenous to Arizona, and you can cut them down 4,000 times a day, and the more seeds, they take more. You can cut it down. It doesn't matter. They just come up, and everybody knows this. We all live here. They love being here, and they are there. There's nothing you can do. Yeah, but you can cut them down 4,000 times a day.
I think the important thing to recognize is maintaining defensible space around your structures. That's the real big advantage that fire crews can have against that stuff. And it is an unending battle in this fuel type to keep and maintain that stuff away from your structures.
Every single time you put on, into a weed eater, the seeds fly everywhere, and they make more and more and more and more.
Okay, I have a question right here.
This is my third bar. There's a bar break behind your Cheyenne, and there's a bar break behind that first little property. 10 years ago, that thing was kept clear all the time. The bar would hit that and go around. It hasn't been maintained. Why? Get that.
So, I guess the answer to that probably is you probably have to find out who's what that property is.
I can answer that one. I can't tell you why it hasn't been maintained. I do know that it was part
Well, if I can ask you to the back of the room, keep it down, please.
I do know that that parcel of land back there was part of the county's and the Fort Mohave Indian Tribe's multi-jurisdictional mitigation plan. That was part of the plan to get that taken care of. We are continuing to work on that, and we are working with our cooperators with the Fort Mohave Indian Tribe with maintaining that break in a better.
Don, I can tell you how it's been about. Myself and my next door neighbor cut that. It was nearly 20 years ago. Yes. We cut it, we offered to maintain it, we asked for the right to use it as land exchange. We tried to get the tribe to agree to that, but we got to the point where we tried to put our money still in the water. The tribe would never give us anything in writing authorizing us to use it as a land exchange, so we let it go.
I understand that, but I am working with the tribe and with the tribal emergency management and tribal council so that we can maintain that fire break.
Yeah, and it's supposed to over here.
When we first go onto our property, I'm assuming that there's some guidelines that we should be following, things that we need to check for. When we walk onto the property, what are the things that should be at the top of the list to look for?
Well, first of all, be aware. Just have your situational awareness when you walk on. Look around when you walk across, if you're walking across electrical wire, something like that, before you walk up to the property. If you've got a burned property that has the things destroyed on it, there could still be some heat in it. There's a lot of sharp objects, could be broken glass, things of that nature. You shouldn't really approach your property in flip-flops and shorts. You should have long pants and shoes on as you go to your property and to look at it if you have burned property. The second aspect is be aware. Your power may be off. Anything that you had in your refrigerator is probably going to be spoiled. You need to be aware of that. And you need to be aware of any propane leaks or any gas leaks of any type in your home. You may be fine, and then again, you may not be. That's when you need to make a call to somebody. We're going to continue to have people in the subdivision, firefighters, that can get flagged down if they were coming by. They'd be glad to assist you, identify hazards for you, work with you there. There's a question. If you get a check in your heart about something, give us a call. We're going to be here. The fire department's here. We're going to help you get back into your home as best possible.
And then just one other thing to look out for, and unfortunately a common accident among firefighters is as you're walking, the ground may look solid, but a lot of times there's roots and stuff that may burn underground. The ground will look solid, and we have people falling in ashes all the time. They're still hot underneath, and they do cause burns, so that's really a lookout. I have a question right here.
Yeah, my name's Terry King. I have an house on Cheyenne. It's a Coaching gun. I've been asked a lot of questions as to what can we do for you. I guess a lot of things all along. And the need, not the clothing and the furniture, things like that, not there yet. We need to know how we get this thing up, how we can get a property back in shape. Is there money available? Is the state going to do anything about it? Do we have a resource that we can drop there? Anything going together in this initiative? Because we have a lot of low-income families are gone white. So there may be help.
Nope.
I can try to understand it, and the problem is we run across this many times when we've had floods and fires and that. All of the assistance money and emergency is to come to and they're not really oriented, they're oriented toward public infrastructure. They're not really oriented toward homeowners, which is a big gap. And frustrating to us in emergency management as well as the people who do impact. But they have an individual assistance program, and generally the way it is now, they don't have any set criteria, but typically you have to have a very big disaster, like 150, 200 homes lost before they get funded raised. Below that level, they're depending on individual homeowners to have insurance. And I know sometimes that's not possible. And sometimes it's not possible to get the level of insurance. What happened, I'll tell you what happened in the Yardell Hill fire. The firefighters were lost 2 years ago. They also lost a number of homes there in Yardell. And they ran into the same situation. There were quite a few people who were uninsured or underinsured. And what happened is they formed a group, and I think it's headed by local ministers, and they brought in local ministers and financial agencies, local civic clubs, that type of thing. And they started to talk to individuals who had unmet needs, who didn't have means to recover from this. And they actually went out and sought funding and were able to get funding to help out a lot of these people. So unfortunately, it's not something that you can get from FEMA and you can run. They don't do anything. They have sometimes just short-term assistance on temporary housing. But my recommendation would be to know within your community people who are willing to spend more. And we've already been told that some of the churches are willing to do that. Form a recovery group, and we will work with you at several levels. Emergency management will work with you, and we'll be able to do some of the agencies out there that are doing case assistance. We will be dealing with the individual situations that are involved out there, and giving them some information, and see what the needs are, how much money that might take, and try to see if we can come up with something like a community effort. And so that's one thing we're willing to do. If you guys are willing to, we see this everywhere in communities, you all are willing to help each other, you're all willing to pull together, and we're willing to work with you on that to try to do this.
I got a quick question.
Cool. What I'm going to do, and I will get to your question, is I think we've answered a lot of the questions. We're not going to adjourn. Anybody feel free, if you feel like your questions have been answered, we will stick around. If there's any breaking news that comes with something, we'll make sure and get that information out. But we'll continue. You guys good? We'll keep going.
I know you guys said you're going to get us back in by 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. What about if we can get a escort for a few people who got their animals there that need to go get them watered and fed, people who got medication that can get in there, get them out, so everybody can be happy with this. We're all teed off about this. We need to get our animals. I think I lost my animals. Some people lost their animals. We need to get them and find out if we can get an escort in and out. Because we were there 11 o'clock this morning, couldn't get in. We were told we were going to be able to get an escort. We were able to get a piece of paper. They said it was going to be a waiver so we can go in on our own and get our stuff and get out. We were getting a runaround on that. So is there any way we can at least get a few of us to go in and get the medications that they need and the animals fed and watered?
We're not going to be able to accommodate that. We've got together and did the best we could do. And if we are, it took a lot of convincing of different people to get to this position. That we're going to allow you to 10 o'clock. That was the best that we could come up with.
Okay, we
did not want, tomorrow, one of the options for tomorrow was to do that sort of stuff. We were going to do that tomorrow.
We got a guy that's in there taking care and helping. He's the only one that's been there taking care of
Let
it.
me address your question. That was one of the options, was for tomorrow to do that, to escort people in and then back out. We made the decision that we didn't want to do that. Once people were in, we wanted to be able to leave people. And 10 o'clock in the morning was the time that we agreed upon. And like I said, we've got a lot of other partners that we're working with, the power company, everybody had to be on board with our plan. That was the decision we made. So when we were talking about escorts in and out, that was going to be tomorrow afternoon. I think we're doing a little bit better by getting it.
Yeah, because all the information that we got was twisted backwards and upside down and in which way it can, and we were just.
Okay, I've got a question over here, and then I'll look at you next, okay? Some of our neighbors, like, came, we got them there to our home, have standing and others in sanctuary.
I know we were talking with getting everything. You know, it might catch you.
We thought that we could share, and we've been there 20 years, and we wanted to ask you,
Yeah, we didn't. She didn't need it.
okay.
I just have a question. Is there like somebody that can go in there and go to the houses if we come to you guys so that they can open the doors? Because our cats have been in there for days now and they don't have food or water or no way to do it without power.
And to take my 4-year-old into my house and there's a dead cat on the floor is not a very good thing to have to do.
So you're asking,
Someone that we go inside, I'm gonna feed the animal.
there's gonna be a large presence of law enforcement, firefighters there tomorrow morning.
Well, today. But it's already been 3 days and our cats are inside without power.
Yeah, we understand that. From what I understand is that the animals that we're releasing, firefighters have been licensed with those animals. They've got a job to do, and they've been doing the job. They're camping it out.
We weren't called when everything was evacuated. We were away from the house, so we had no idea.
We just don't have a plan in place.
So unfortunately, what we need to remind everybody is, we still have an active fire. And right now, that is the number one concern, is fire suppression. We understand, we sympathize, with the animal situation, and hopefully by tomorrow morning, everything will be okay. We understand where you're at, that's kind of where we're at, we're still fighting fire.
One of the topics that was brought up is that there used to be a fire break south of the community, and you're going to try to maintain that fire break or to create it. Is there anybody we can talk to participate in helping maintain that fire break? Would that be you, Don?
Yes, it will be me, and whenever this thing gets slowed down and we can get back on our feet running, I'm going to have a couple meetings with the tribal council, or at least the tribal chairman, because he's the guy that can say yes or no, and try to get that stuff taken care of. And if I have community, if I can get him to show up to a community meeting to work with you guys on it, maybe he'll give us permission to be able to go in there and take care of it ourselves. Okay? Yeah.
Willing to help us.
I have 2 sons that have homes on Deadwood, and thank God they're both there. I've been informed, though, that one of them's took a heavy hit with a retardant. The car is completely covered in red, and then a house. So I understood there's chemicals. How do we dispose of it if we all have wells? Can we spray them in a different way? Will they be dangerous?
Hang with them, guys, we'll figure out the best person to down to the question.
Our equipment gets, we call it painted from time to time. They basically we do it with soap and water, wash it off, fertilizer in there, stuff like that. There's no hazardous chemicals, biodegradable, soak into the ground, no matter what.
Well, throwing chemicals is gone here. Someplace that if somebody runs across something that's questionable, been damaged by the fire, that they need to dispose of, you know, where can they bring that, or?
If it's propane type items and you've got a propane company that's coming in and delivering your stuff, I'm gonna have to work with that one at this time. Right this minute, I don't have that. They scheduled 2 community hazard pickups here. I'm gonna have to get with Mohave County and see what we can work together. So, okay, I will work on that. Okay.
Don't see any more questions? Okay, that's all we have for you. Like I said, we're gonna hang around for a little bit. These guys, again, are still fighting fire. We'll probably, be boogie in here in a minute. We got one more.
When you guys start to come back tomorrow at 10 o'clock.
We're making it, you know, my expertise in wildland fire, all the questions that you're hearing here are questions that we have in the back of our mind because we're concerned about safety. So there's a lot of questions that we were trying to game out and talk to the right folks about. So from the fire, you know, I'm going to be comfortable letting you guys go back in. But we're just going to inform you about the other hazards that are out there. We're on our own. You're on your own.
But there is no waiver or anything.